we economic hitmen have managed to create the world's first truly global empire, and it's basically a secret empire. We do it in many ways, but principally we identify a country that has resources our corporations covet, like oil, arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sisters. The money never actually goes to the country. It goes to our own corporations to build big infrastructure projects in that country that help a few very wealthy people, but don't benefit the majority of the people who are too poor to buy electricity or have cars to drive on the highways, and yet they're left holding a huge debt that they can't repay. So we go back at some point and say, you know, you can't pay your debts. Give us a pound of flesh. Sell your oil real cheap to our oil companies. Vote with us on the next critical UN vote. Allow us to build a military base in your backyard. Something along these lines. And when we fail, the jackals go in and either overthrow or assassinate these leaders. And if the jackals fail, as they did in Iraq, then we send in the military. I don't think the failure is capitalism. I think it's a specific kind of capitalism that we've developed. We've created what I consider a mutant, viral form of capitalism. And this mutant form of capitalism, which I think is really a predatory form of capitalism, has created an extremely unstable, unsustainable, unjust, and very, very dangerous world. I've met a lot of terrorists. I've interviewed them for books. I've never met one who wanted to be a terrorist. They're desperate people. If we want to get rid of terrorism, we must get rid of the root causes, that cancer that is destroying our whole system. Because I think it's really important that we understand today we cannot have homeland security unless we understand that the whole planet is our homeland.
Well, when is the average American going to become ashamed of this system? Well, we're not. I mean, the system brainwashes us. I mean, the boob tube alone. You're constantly marketed to buy the materialism. They feed you football games. They feed you baseball games, basketball games, the news, CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, Fox. The corporations, the politicians, everybody is lying to you. No one's telling you the truth. They're all telling you the game plan, the capitalistic game plan, designed to keep you stupid, designed to keep you dumb, designed to keep you blind. Trade deficits. Let's just look at some of the language. What does that really mean? I mean, how can you call an American company like Apple or Nike going over to China and say, hey, China, build this product for me, for my company, for my American company, because I'm going to ship it back to America, to my company, and then I'm going to sell it to Americans. How is that a trade deficit? That's not a trade deficit. That is America making gobs of money off of China. But yet, the institutions, these systems, will explain it like there's a war going on. Like there's a fight, like China is the bad guy. No, we're the bad guys. We're the people our American corporations are exploiting foreign labor. Per the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank, they released a report in 2011. 88% of the products American buys are American made. But no one tells you that. Why? Because it's the truth. Because the opposite is more scary, more fearful. Because the opposite keeps China as an enemy, keeps Mexico as an enemy. 88% of the stuff we buy is American made. 8% of that 88 will have foreign parts. Okay, whoop-dee, American company went out and bought some foreign parts to make their stuff. Bottom line is, we buy 88% American-made products. The rest of the world, that 12%, is foreign trade. Per the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank, 2.7 of that 12% is made in China. 88% heavily outweighs 2.7%. And here's the even funnier part. Of that 2.7, only 1.2 goes to the Chinese corporations that make their own stuff. Now that kind of makes sense because China doesn't own technology. They don't own patents. They own labor. They own lots of people. America, we are the people that own the technology. We are the people that have the patent rights. We are the people that invent things. Our American system has no intention of letting China rule the profit-making world. It's not going to happen. See, now that's the truth. Now, if we can't talk about the truth, how can we fix our problems? When we can't, if the truth is not presented on the news or by the corporations or by our politicians, how can we fix it? See, we can't. They don't want us to. They don't want to make us intelligent. This is why you have to go out and get a loan for higher education, so they can brainwash you into the system. So then you become a part of the system. Now you got a debt. Now you have to pay it off. So now you have to work for them. And that's the brainwashing. You become an American idiot to American ideals. And the delusion that we aren't the big bad boys on the block and that we aren't the big bad boys destroying the planet. This leads into labor. We're constantly told that we are losing labor to Mexico and China. Well, that's not true either. Ball State University did a study. 88% of American labor is lost to robotics and automation. Our American companies have moved to automation. There's another economist, Bill Watkins, who says California in the last 10 years, we have produced twice as many four-year college degrees compared to the new jobs. So we are creating more educated humans than we are jobs. Hence, the millennials are living in their parents' basement. Oxford did a study. In the next 20 years, we have a high risk of 47% of our labor being automated. All you do is got to look at the news and you can see how true that is. Eventually, we're going to have automated trucks, automated cars, automated stores. Amazon now is working on a store where the products in it have a little chip and it will read your phone. So basically, you can walk into a store, pick out the items you need. When you leave the store, it will register to your phone and come straight out of your bank account. Retail clerks are going to become obsolete. That union will disappear. So how do we get to a resource-based economy? Obviously, the Democrats, the Republicans, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, they're so caught up in capitalism that they haven't arrived to a resource-based economy. So we're going to have to start our own party. You know, we can call it the Compassionate Party, the Technology Party, the Science Party. We can even call it the Smart Party. But the name doesn't matter. What does matter is we have to take certain steps to stop our path of self-destruction. The American people are not going to feel guilty until something is hitting us in the face. That is going to be global warming. We're on our third straight year of increasing Earth's temperature, and it's not going to stop now. Next year is going to be warmer, the year after that is going to be warmer, and the year after that is going to be warmer. Yes, CO2 is a natural gas, but what we are doing is we are taking a plastic bag and we're fitting it right over all of Earth. You take a plastic bag and put it on your head. How long do you think you will live? Well, that's what we're doing to Earth. When we really start seeing the dramatic effect of global warming, finally America will come to their senses, and then there's only one option after that. resource-based economy. Jack Fresco is the inventor of a resource-based economy called the Venus Project. He invented it back in the 70s. So this means for 30, 40 years, you really haven't heard anything about it. Well, that goes back to CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox. I mean, those are structures designed to keep capitalism going, to keep the corporations going, and to keep government going. So how do we get to a resource-based economy? Well, America is this very aggressive capitalistic structure that is really raping other countries and controlling the world. I mean, America is responsible for this. Our materialism, the way we consume goods, is going to destroy the planet. That is backed by central banking. They are the people that want to keep this money structure in place. They are the people that finance everything. Corporations, our war machine. Everything is financed with the central banking money. You know, we only pay taxes because our government we have to borrow money from the Federal Reserve. They are private banks. They are not part of government. Our government goes to the banking structure to borrow money. We pay taxes to pay them bankers back, to pay the principal, to pay the interest. Our nation was founded on printing our own money. Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, all the way up through Lincoln, believed in a government must control their money and print it themselves. The money can enter the economy in a debt-free manner this way and eliminate taxes because we don't have to pay the bankers back. We don't have to pay the interest back. We're not going to be able to change America without changing central banking. We need to change it to democracy. Our government must print our own money. This is step one to getting to a resource-based economy. Once our government has control of money, then we can enter the money into the economy debt-free. We can spend it directly on the technologies that we need to save the planet. Once government has control of money and we can spend it in the economy debt-free, we give it to corporations to build the future that we need. We start building the technology and the automation, the green grid, solar energy, geothermal energy. We start developing the technology. We will develop it at a faster rate because now money is not slowing down the process, nor is corporate greed. I mean, corporations usually will only sell a technology if it makes money. Other than that, if the technology doesn't make money, they're not interested in developing it. Well, that's what we have to move past. That's the biggest problem with capitalism, is they only want to support the systems that they want to support. We don't even have to run taxes anymore because what we're doing is we're building the resource-based economy. We're building the best version of the Venus Project. It just needs to be engineered. So once we get control of the money, then we can spend it into our industrial might to do the right things. So that's step one, get control of money. Step two, corporations must be restructured. They must move to a profit-sharing system. A corporation cannot sit there and filter their money up to the CEO and up to the board members. We just simply have got to move it to a profit-sharing system so the average worker is engaged in what they're doing. With that philosophy and taking the money, spending it on the corporations and into the economy, now we readjust the corporations to build the technology and the automation that we need. We start working on solar panels for everybody, a solar grid that powers our transportation system, electric cars, electric vehicles, electric trucks, automation. And if you don't have a job, you still get a guaranteed income. It's kind of we're just letting the money flow through the population while the technical population and the people who can work, we dive in and build the resource-based economy. We all pull together, and this is not only an American function. This needs to happen across the world. This needs to happen in China, Russia, Europe, Australia, Japan, everywhere. This same system needs to be applied. But America must start at first to lead the way, so we can go to the G8 up through the G20 and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we want to save the world. This is how we want to run our civilization now. And what do you think those other countries are going to say? Those who want to fall by the wayside, let them. But I guarantee you, Spain, England, France, Germany, Australia, Japan will jump aboard. They will want a modern civilization of automation and technology. Eventually, everybody will, because it's a beautiful lifestyle for all the people. Now, what's it going to take? 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years of money, of a positive influence of money into the environment, into the economy, debt-free, with no taxes, and everybody is taken care of to build this automated world? One day we'll wake up, the automation is running things, it's supplying our food, supplying our water, not fouling the air, it works with Earth, it's keeping everybody happy. We're going to realize we don't need money. It's unnecessary. We don't have wars over money. We're not fighting over oil. Politics are pretty much gone because we all agree on this lifestyle. There's no more reason to keep it. It'll just fall by the wayside. So that's really the plan. It's the only plan that will work to get to a resource-based economy. Number one, take over the money from the banks. Number two, restructure the industrial complex of corporations and how they operate and build the technology we need. And then boom, voila, one day we'll wake up and we'll go, wow, this is pretty cool, the stuff we built. And the automation will take over, and from there humans will enjoy working the system. There's always some young geek that likes to work on computers and robotics. I mean, that's what our little cell phones produce now. That's not going away. They're going to love it. That's how we save Earth. That's how we save the human species. We have to do those steps. Now, if we don't, let's be realistic. Our environment is going to get to a level of CO2 and heat generation that we are going to be forced to turn industrialization off. That means our electricity, that means our heat, that means our industry, that means agriculture. We can't ship food. That means we can't fly planes, we can't drive trucks, we can't drive cars. Now you imagine that world. That's back to the Stone Age. That's chaos. That's barbarism. That's a lot of starvation, a lot of famine, and a lot of ugly people trying to kill each other to live. Some will, but it's not going to be pretty. It's really a mass extinction of the human species. It's not a pretty world, and it's a very real possibility. But again, no one's going to tell you the truth.